Southern Leyte PLGU. All roads lead to PRDP. Introduction. Cognizant of the catastrophic devastation the Visayas regions suffered at the time PRDP was implemented, the Project Appraisal Document gives a two-pronged strategy for the Visayas Cluster. The project was introduced in Southern Leyte immediately after Yolanda, but like the debris and disorders brought by the super typhoon, the project's inception was not well ordered and not well organized. We present the province of Southern Leyte as an epitome of a province that shows institutional capability and responsiveness to undertake institutional and sectoral reforms using all at once the two-pronged strategy designed by the project for the Visayas Cluster. How the province profited much from using PRDP funding assistance, tools, and processes by implementing sub-projects that are able to achieve PRDP's manifold objectives of restoration, reforms, local development, and effective devolution is presented in this segment. The province of Southern Leyte is composed of one component city, Maasin, a fourth-class city, and 18 municipalities with 9 towns classified as fifth-class municipalities and 6 towns as fourth-class municipalities. Economically, the income classification for the lone city and 15 out of 18 municipalities of Southern Leyte shows that the province is basically a low-income class province. Currently, the province of Southern Leyte has excellent performance in the I-Plan component. Approved and updated PCIP with 2 commodities, coconut and abaca. 1 and 2 out of 6 provinces in RPCO 8 with updated PCIP. 1 and 2 out of 6 provinces that has 2 commodities in the PCIP. All commodities with VCA have been updated in the PCIP. It is also faring well in iBuild. 4 FMR sub-projects, 40.13 kilometers combined total length, costing 468 million pesos, 3 sub-projects above 50% completed, disbursement rate of 53%. Southern Leyte has many ARIP enterprise sub-projects, 14 small livelihood sub-projects, 13.9 million pesos total cost, 1 regular sub-project, 11.4 million pesos cost. Despite institutional and implementation arrangements clearly and fully detailed in the Project Appraisal Document, project inception in the province of Southern Leyte unfolded in a disjunctive manner.
At that time, IRIP was not in place. We don't even know about PCIP, although I read the project document. There was such name as PCIP, I-Plan, but we don't understand what PCIP was. 2013, and it was right after Yolanda. It was still easy because there were a lot of things we didn't understand. So after that, we went on. There were a series of trainings, feasibility study preparation for roads. So it's really focused on iBuild. So we worked on iBuild, and the first project identified was the Liyuan sub-project, San Roque Bahay. The I-Plan and IRIP came after the 2 road sub-projects have been implemented.
Nato after Yolanda kay kami gipadami sa Manila. Mura mo tug iBuild sir nga gihatag. So gipa-attend mi sa training ato sa feasibility preparation.
As iBuild was introduced first, there was much reason for Southern Leyte to join PRDP. Firstly, as the PPDC describes, iBuild was introduced as a selling point.
It was sold primarily as a come-on.
And for good reason, that there was no limit in budget was impressed upon the LGU. So, to the question, Why PRDP finances big for roads, the PPDC did subscribe to the principle of having highly sufficient budget for infrastructure because of the economic impact the sub-project would create as compared to low-budgeted infrastructure sub-projects.
One thing that really struck me at that time was the information that there was no limit in budget. That's a very good aspect of the PRDP in the sense that, for example, in terms of roads, unlike in other fundings where you're only limited to 5 million, and when you really examine, there's really no economic impact on such small sub-projects. Unlike with PRDP, we were able to identify a long stretch of much needed rehabilitation for road.
Additionally, PRDP was not just about having roads anywhere, or where a political figure would want it built. The PPDC understood that specific criteria, requirements, and stringent procedures will have to be followed.
The number one in the criteria was the number of barangays that will be affected, the state of the current, at the time, the state of the road at that time, and the potential for agriculture development in those areas. And that's why the San Roque Bahay sub-project was identified.
At the very moment PRDP was introduced to the province, albeit skewed towards I-Build, Southern Leyte PLGU then already showed a certain degree of readiness and responsiveness to take on the project. They saw what the project would achieve, that if PRDP criteria, requirements, and processes will be followed, the particular economic and social contexts of the province would be addressed and beyond, unto the project objectives.
Ning abil may because amo tan-aw makahatag og maayo nga inonta result sa atong mga farmers.
The state of the road was really very bad, and it affect only the economic activities of the barangays, but also their social well-being, because during monsoon season, that road was really impassable. So what the people did was take boats. For example, if there's an emergency, somebody is sick or somebody has to give birth, they have to take bangkas from barangays to Lilupan.
It should be noted that when the road sub-project was submitted for approval, PCIP was yet nowhere in existence. IREP was likewise a latecomer. Yet, the PPDC asserts they did not make a blunder in I-Build. In other words, there was no retrofitting needed. How was this possible?
That in the absence of PCIP and I-Plan, we made a blunder with I-Build. No. Fortunately, at the onset, we were able to identify our prime commodity correctly, which is coconut, because obviously the province is a coconut province. There's no way it's rice and coconut, and since rice is not included in PRDP, by default it is coconut. So even if we didn't have the PCIP, the document itself, we were conscious of our commodity, and even if ever you put your road, you will still hit coconut.
Prior to the PCIP, the province already knew its needs as an agricultural province.
Kung maguding probinsya ha, agricultural province, wa maguding ingon nga doon na tayo mga factory dire, wa tayo mga planta dire, agriculture na. Ang karsada, number one nga importante, because without road, ang mga farmers maglisod. While mamayo na ang kalsada, sayo na nga to pag naog sa ilang produkto. Even kami dire sa LGU, priority na mo pa to market roads. Nagka-istorya mo ni Secretary Pinyo, lakong ilan, sir, dili na lang tele nato palabian og hatag og mga farm tractor, mga unsa-unsa ning farmer sir kay di man kadyo sila ng farm tractor. Ang ilang gusto sir nga ang ilang produkto na ay market.
Still, it can be asked, was it all a matter of default, luck, and timing because PCIP was not yet a requirement that motivated them to avail of the big opportunity from PRDP, especially for iBuild?
At the time that PRDP started, that was also the time that I started I came in as PPDC. After going through the projects of the provinces, the road projects, noticed that there were, short, small projects, FMR. So I told the governor, the provincial engineer, that I don't agree with that kind of strategy for roads because the economic impact could not be felt. So I said, if we are going to do roads, let's do one long, complete, so we can feel, the people can feel the impact of the road in terms of increasing production, reduce costs, access to social services, access to health and education facilities, etc. So that was already our stand as far as road infrastructure projects are concerned.
PRDP came to Southern Leyte with the province already having a clear principle and strategy on roads. Hence, when the opportunity came in, they were not convinced because of the selling point or come on. The LGU's buy-in of the project is because of the clarity of their vision, plan, and strategy that they understood will be realized by integrating into their own the project strategies and processes. Which can explain why, as a proactive response, the province so easily aligned and committed its human and financial resources to the project, no matter how meager. Even the counterpart amount seems only secondary. It was all out for PRDP.
How did we prepare? It was all out. Like the very limited resources and manpower that we have at the PEO, all devoted for PRDP.
Ning abil gud mi. Although daghan kayong mga requirements, amo gyud ang gihimo tanan. For example, sa project engineers, nag-assign yun ng project engineer intended for that project. Even ang mga LGUs, ang mga towns nga involved. Like for example, Hinunangan, St. Bernard, i-reserve sa ato sa Liloan, San Ricardo, ng suporta sa ang local LGU.
Part of the commitment was the municipality of Liloan's share in assigning a staff from the Agriculture Office for the road right-of-way negotiations.
Ang amo gudjong gibuhat dato sir, amo gudjong gipuy-an na mo ngadto ang mga taga-baryo. Sa kapila mi magbalik-balik magabihan mi ngadto say mga adlawon pa mi ngadto.
The mayor of St. Bernard was also involved in SES activities.
Agi sa PRDP sa World Bank, kinahanglan kadyon nga ang tanang road right of way bayran. Ang uban mo reklamo sa mayor, so mayor pod mo kan dito nga mao na di apay wa mabayri nga mga road right of way.
He saw the difference with the way PRDP implements sub-projects and appreciated the participation of the barangay residents in the citizens monitoring training.
Mo naman pud may mga project padong sa bukid ang nahitabo dito kay why monitoring. Ang sa PRDP nindot kay naa gud monitoring nagsunod unya ang mga tao pod gi-meeting sa PRDP gitun-an og unsaon pagtan-aw sa project. Unya giingnan sila nga og matanawan ninyo nga na ay murag wa mamao dili maadyo pareklamuhon gajud ja patugan pasumbungon gajud sa gobyerno.
Southern Leyte PPMIU saw that sub-projects were implemented with the PCIP as a tool for bigger institutional and sectoral reforms needed to make agriculture competitive.
Not only PCIP, but the PRDP process of identifying what are your number 1, 2, 3 commodities that you should focus on, and all things should support this. Planning, yes. with the prime commodity principle, they're able to prioritize and really see, what matters most. Because why do you bother with commodities that have very little impact on the overall economy of the province?
So, how are these understanding and insights on the goals and objectives of PRDP translated from planning and budgeting to actual initiatives for the agriculture sector at the PLGU level?
As an offshoot, TILG program, the CMGP project, where we were asked to identify the economic drivers. So PCIP had a match already. We didn't have to, reinvent the process because we went through that process already. And then, what are the support services needed to support these economic drivers? And another output of that is we were able to develop a map, digital map, for all this. Where are your economic drivers? Where are the roads? What are the services there? It's not only in terms of production, but also in processing.
Diri ra sa PRDP kay diri ako nakainkwentruhan ng value chain analysis. Wa man na sa projects namo. Inben sa agriculture manay ang sundo na kininang murag inani nga type nga project proposal, so may value chain na dyan.
Sa among andan ang mag-submit na may mga plans ang i-submit dire unsay parang need sa mga constituents namo sa province ja i-submit namo sa PPDO na mga request sa atong mga constituents sa mga munisipyo. Gamit na siya kay at least nga ang mga funding na to di naman magpataka-taka o kuan na ma-eksakto jud na paggagamit sa eksakto nga project.
Their knowledge on the PCIP is used to produce catalytic impact on Abaca. Late 2018, the PCIP for Abaca was approved. There is yet no IREAP sub-project for Abaca, but the provincial government is putting funds to the #1 constraint in input supply segment of Abaca in Southern Leyte, which is nursery and seedlings production. It is remembered that Abaca in the province were almost all wiped out by bunchy top.
Mag-establish sa og mga 50 nurseries province-wide kay i-rehabilitate man nato kana nga mga nurseries nga establish ang atong ma-produce i-distribute na sa mga farmers within that area. 17,234,000 ang gi-budget sa 2018. Nami additional karon 5 million.
The municipality of Liloan, where RPCO8's longest FMR is located, has no IREAP sub-project yet. The FMR is still under implementation, but the municipal agriculturist is already taking initiatives to improve their service delivery or extension services to the far-flung barangays.
Daghan na jud ang atong mabisitahan nga mga farmers tungod sa atong karsada nga accessible na kaadyo ba dya. Paghatag og technology transfer sa atong mga farmer unja ang amo po di style karon nga kung mga dumi sa baryo magdaog mi og kanang mga vegetable seeds para kami mismo mo hatag ba sa atong services or unsay atong mga programa dires. Kay daghan man lagi mig mga monitoring nga among buhaton sir kay sa atong mga project kay dili man pud lagi na mulambo og dili pud nato adyohon og monitor. Mag-establish mig tabo nga ang atong mga farmer maka-supply na jud sa ang sustainability ba sa atong mga produkto nga naa kanunay. Mo nang gi-work out karon amo nang gani nag-submit na mi dito ni Mayor og kanang committee para mo work ana.
An unexpected gain from the process of being involved in SES is the improvement of their negotiation skills, necessary for their agriculture extension services.
Kinahanglan kitang mga extension agent taas taog pasensya. Kaya aron nato sila maagni gajud sensakto. Na-improve jud ang skills diyan nga party kay naaho magud silang nakumbinsi. Kay na may kasagaran nga program nga kinahanglan jud amo gadyong dawaton aksipon nga kinahanglan jud makakup up mi din nga mga kadaghanon sa farmer ja mihit mig farmer mga ina amo gadyong di gadyong naulubad dyan nga dili si mo sugot siya.
The municipal agriculturist of St. Bernard cites the changes PRDP brought to her.
Napon mi part ana na may farm tourism nga gustong i-develop tos babaw. Agi man na ng karsadaha. Anang sa proseso pa sa pagsugod, hago. Hago kay murag daghang requirements. Nigtan-aw pa nimos requirements, daghan naman ni murag di man ni kaya. Nakatabang in the sense nga mausob ang imo nakasanayan. Nga murag ang sao na kay sige ra, okay ra na. Mas comprehensive ba ang sa PRDP. Kay at least pod mausob pug atong attitude towards project sa una pataka-rakag hingaan og project way investment plan asa padung so far sa ahong pagsabot mas maadjong PRDP bisag lisod.
Conclusion. It is clarity of vision and goal, strategies, and direction that galvanize institutional capabilities, strengths, and resources of the Province of Southern Leyte to fully exploit and profit highly from PRDP. The readiness of the province to implement PRDP was way before Yolanda. They have a plan. So, when the project came, with the eye billed as the forerunner to rebuild the ruins brought by the super typhoon, the province saw inroads and byroads leading to their plan. Through the PRDP, and with the Provincial Planning and Development Office managing and leading, Southern Leyte built a development highway that would pave the way past their local development plans and onto the national aims of the PRDP for the agriculture sector. The story of Southern Leyte is an example of all roads lead to PRDP, with them giving all-out support. We look forward to seeing the province and towns gaining more from PRDP's pump-priming financial assistance, whether it is institutional, social, environmental, or economic in nature.